Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We will chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Karmendriyani sanyamya,
ya aste manasa smaran,
ya aste manasa smaran,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
yastvindriyani manasa,
yastvindriyani manasa,
niyamyarabhate Arjuna,
niyamyarabhate Arjuna,
karmendriyai karma yogam,
Karmendriyai karma yogam,
asakta savishishyate,
asakta savishishyate,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
sharirayatra pichate,
sharirayatra pichate,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
tadartham karma kaunteya,
tadartham karma kaunteya,
mukta sangha samachara,
mukta युक्तसङ्गः समाचर
सह यज्ञाः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा
सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
येषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
येषवोऽस्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are doing verse number 6, which has very powerful messages. What is interesting is, every verse has wonderful messages. This we have been seeing. When we use the yogic approach, we are able to eke out these messages which are hidden inside these verses. Now, sometimes the master gives the messages in a subtle way. Those kinds of messages, or rather the messages which are given through that approach, will not hit you directly. You will be exposed to that, and suddenly you will find a tremendous impact in your mind, in your entire personality. That is one way. And there are certain verses where the master gives the messages in a powerful way. All messages are powerful only, but the method which the master chooses to use can be gentle, or it can be very, very forceful. Powerful here means forceful. Now, this is one such verse wherein he uses very, very strong words like Vimodhatma, supreme fool, Mithyachara. Mithyachara means hypocrite, one who leads a false life. It is not only in the second line. I explained to you in the previous sessions. In the first line also, he has increased the alertness of the sadhak by using the words like sanyamya, aste, smaran, all these kinds of words which are usually used in a positive sense to explain the different aspects of sadhana. So he has used them in a negative way. Now, these kinds of verses wherein the master takes a very forceful approach help in directly hitting the ego of a sadhak. It literally kinds of it wakes you up. It shakes you. The verses where the gentle approach is taken, that also has a purpose. That helps in entering you slowly. A master decides what should be the proportion of these two approaches he should take, depending upon the level of the students. In the beginning of the second chapter, we saw very, very forcefully Krishna was saying, how can you be a coward, Arjuna? See, that message is not merely for Arjuna. That's why only when you use the yogic approach, these verses will start really talking to you. Otherwise, you will be seeing it as a mere conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Now, how is it relevant to your life? So, that is a message to humanity. Klaibyam asmagamapartha means don't yield to cowardice. Very, very powerful. Like that, we have been seeing every now and then. He gives a series of gentle verses. That is, verses which have very powerful messages, but the approach is gentle. So you kind of relax and you settle down. And slowly, when you're fully relaxed, there is always a chance of going off to sleep. At that time, suddenly he intercepts that approach with a very forceful and powerful approach. This is exactly how a master trains a student. Very interesting. You go to the Upanishads also, the same style is followed. In all the scriptures, they follow the same style. It's not only the scriptures. When a student takes personal training from a master, he does the same thing. For a while, he'll be very gentle, and you will start becoming too comfortable, and that comfortable feeling, instead of becoming positive, when it starts becoming negative, wherein the student starts becoming tamasic, he or she stops putting in the effort. Now suddenly, like a wake-up call, the master may be a little harsh, or he may say something very forcefully. It will catch the student by surprise. It is not only saying, the master may do something which can shake up a student. Now, that is when the student comes out of that tamas. And once the student is again available, now he takes a gentle approach. So if you're a good sadhak, when the gentle approach is taken, you will relax and absorb. When the forceful approach is taken, you will now utilize that to wake your consciousness up. That is how you can use these verses through the yogic approach to create a transformation within yourself. It is not mere association with the scriptures that will change you. It is not, when I say association, mechanical association. It is not a mere mechanical association with a master that can change you. But how you use everything which is given to you by the master to transform your personality. That depends on you only. So as far as the great yogis, the masters are concerned, their goal is very, very clear when they disseminate this knowledge, this wisdom. They want the people to get uplifted. They want to help the sadhaks to expand their consciousness and become one with the infinite. So whenever they see any kind of slackening, or they see the tamas setting in, it could be anything, they will immediately use some method which will be suitable to remove that particular block. So incidentally, you can take this principle, these two approaches which I was telling you, and you can use these to tackle your own mind. Somebody has asked me, how do I gain control over my mind? It's like asking, how do I become a sthita prajna? The whole process is that only. But you can use this tip. You can take two approaches. The first is a gentle approach. That is what is always suggested. Don't be too harsh to your mind. Become a friend of your mind. Go along with the mind and change it. That is called, changing in a pace which is not felt by the mind. See, the nature of the mind is to resist any kind of change, because you don't want to come out of your comfort zone. So when that is the weakness of the mind, if you do it in a very gradual way, then at every step the mind will become very comfortable. Soon it will find that the whole course of the mind would have changed without the mind realizing it. That is the best approach normally. They say no car can turn at right angles. We'll have to gradually change. So this is the very reason why these great yogis, they divinized every aspect of the world. See, one way is you sit in a quiet place and you gather the mind from wherever it's running and then direct the mind towards the infinite, God. Now that is the very process of meditation which everybody cannot do. Even in meditation there are different levels, the capacity will vary. Now, since this is very impractical, this is a very forceful approach, very powerful approach, but it can damage a person's mind also when you suppress it and forcefully do this. So understanding the psychology of the mind, what our great yogis did was that, okay, let us also give a gentler approach to change the course of the mind. What did they do? They just did a research and found out where all does the mind go. The mind runs after, for example, wealth. Then they said wealth is nothing but a manifestation of Goddess Lakshmi. Who is Goddess Lakshmi? The direct manifestation of the infinite. So the moment you consider wealth as Goddess Lakshmi, now in your pursuit towards wealth, you will automatically start thinking of the higher. That is the whole idea. Now people have misunderstood this. They sit and pray to Goddess Lakshmi in order to get wealth. See, the whole idea of these masters was to seek Goddess Lakshmi and through her to the infinite formless reality, to seek the infinite formless reality through wealth. But instead, now when a person prays to Lakshmi for wealth, what is he doing? Through Goddess Lakshmi, he is trying to get to wealth. Then the whole exercise becomes worldly. The whole principle itself falls apart, Similarly, they found out, okay, your mind is running behind success. We are not discussing whether it is right or wrong, but how do you now start thinking about the infinite? They said invoke the energy of Mahaganapati. Now, when you see success as an energy of Mahaganapati, now who is Mahaganapati? The direct manifestation of the infinite. Then your very pursuit becomes divine. When you pursue success, that becomes a sadhana for you. There is a divine touch added. Instead, again, today what people are doing is that they pray to Lord Ganesha for success. So through Ganesha they are trying to get success. It is a reverse. Success, wealth, anything from the world is got through your karmas only, your efforts only. But through the wealth or success, they are trying to take your mind upward. Please understand this. So when you pray to Goddess Lakshmi for wealth, actually that is not true prayer. Your mind is on wealth only. Whereas when you are pursuing wealth, when you worship wealth as Goddess Lakshmi, then that is prayer, because your mind is turning towards the higher. It is all a question of where your mind is. If your mind is turning towards the lower, then you're not a spiritual person. If your mind is turned towards the higher, you're a spiritual person. It has nothing to do with what you're doing externally. Externally, you may be going to a place of worship every day. You may be doing certain rituals, pujas and all that. But the mind may still be looking down. So you will have to find out. The masters have, the methods which the masters used are really so beautiful, so powerful that they can lift your mind. Okay, where does your mind go? The mind goes towards knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but Goddess Saraswati. So when you consider knowledge as Goddess Saraswati, immediately there is a humility, there is a divine touch added there. Otherwise, the same knowledge can give you ego, arrogance. Generally, when you gain wealth or success or knowledge, you become very arrogant. Why? Because it is not done as a sadhana. Arrogance will ultimately bring you down at some point. You will never be happy, peaceful. So this is the gentle approach. Go along with your mind. Where is your mind running? And then uplift your mind. This is the sadhana which the masters have given. Throughout the day you need to do that, the gentle approach. But at least for 1 hour a day, minimum, you should sit and also apply the forceful approach. Forceful approach means you're not going out to fulfill your desires, but you're sitting here and you think of God, which will not be so simple. That is why the Yoga Sankirtan material has been given to you, the audio material, so that can help you in purifying yourself, in removing all the blocks which you have created for yourself, the karmic blocks. And as the karmas get burnt up, your mind automatically gets uplifted towards the higher. So you should use these two approaches effectively in your sadhana to tackle your mind. So generally be very friendly with the mind. Don't be too harsh. But when the mind gets into something very dangerous, there you should become very forceful. You should say no. No means no there. Even if it causes a little bit of frustration, it is okay, because where the mind is going is very dangerous. For example, the mind starts going towards drugs or alcohol, smoking, something which is very harmful. There is no point in saying I'll slowly get over it. That itself is said by the ego only, because the ego does not want the mind to come out of that habit. Someone has asked, how do we get out of addictions? I'm answering that question also here. See, when you are addicted to drugs or alcohol or smoking, these are the usual addictions, no, which some people get into. Now, a soft approach and all will not work. First of all, you need to firmly decide that I want to get out of it. If there is no firmness, that dhriti means that firm resolve, then nothing will work. Just simply going for counseling, they're going on trying to convince that person, oh, alcohol is bad and this and that. All that will not work unless and until that person chooses to leave it. And the moment that person chooses to leave it, it's not that the habit will go away. Thereafter, the guru can help. He can take the help of some of his friends or family members also. Because at that moment, when the mind gets that urge to go and drink, for example, at that time, an external help, say from the spouse or some other kind of help, will be very useful in diverting the mind. So on a regular basis, when you learn to divert the mind over a period of time, that will become a habit. A new habit will be formed. It requires willpower. See, spirituality is not for weak-willed person. So on one hand, if you say I am doing the sadhana, oh, I am devoted to the guru and all those things make no sense. You will have to follow what is being given here. So generally you take a gentle approach. But whenever the mind gets into the danger zone, things which can directly harm you, which can harm your health, for example, addictions. A simple thing like addiction to alcohol can harm your health, can harm your relationships. Spiritually also, it causes tremendous downfall because your aura shrinks. It has been observed that one peg of alcohol reduces the aura to a very, very small size. Just one peg of alcohol is enough. You may have attended one powerful empowerment course. Just one peg of alcohol can counteract and destroy all that energy which has been built. So dangerous, these addictions. So in those areas, you need to handle it in a firm way. And when you are prepared, when you decide, yes, I will give it up, then the Guru Shakti will start flowing. The Guru will guide you definitely. But if you are not taking that decision, the Guru will not interfere. If you want to go ahead and destroy yourself, if you want to destroy your family, now what can anybody do? The great Lord Krishna, how much he tried to convince Duryodhana. But Duryodhana didn't listen. He told Duryodhana, listen, the decision which you're taking about the war, it's not only dangerous for others, it is dangerous for you also. But Duryodhana could not listen, would not listen, I would say. Same thing, Vibhishana told Ravana, give back Sita to Rama, save yourself. Why are you destroying everybody else's lives and you're destroying your life also? But Ravana refused to listen. Similarly, the Ravana within you, the Duryodhana within you, will not want to give up these addictions. But, last week I was telling you, the lower energy, the demonic energy is also within you. The energy of the devas, the gods are also within you only. The energy of the infinite is also within you. What are you encouraging is the question. So if you use your divine energy from within and put a firm resolve, make a resolve, I will overcome that. And then when you take guidance from your Guru, you will find that the Shakti will become 100% more. It will come and protect you. And it is not about just merely taking guidance. You need to follow that. No, it's following the guidance which will help, not merely asking and listening. So all these require tremendous willpower. So intelligently, as a sadhak, you should intelligently apply these two principles, these two approaches. For in order to know which approach should I apply where, that is why I have given the criteria. Generally speaking, a gentle approach is fine. But where there is a danger zone, something which can directly harm you, which can cause a lot of issues, there you use your willpower, you use a certain amount of force, and you bring the mind back. That will cause a lot of frustration, which is what in the language of addiction, the medical terms, they call it as withdrawal symptoms. Now that much amount of suffering you should be able to go through. It all depends upon the strong willpower which you have created. Incidentally, the sadhana, the yoga sankirtan energy, the other energy of the empowerment will help you to go through that withdrawal symptoms and come out of that successfully. But if you are unwilling to put in any effort, then none of this will work. The choice has been given. So here also, Krishna is using these two approaches. Krishna was a Jagat Guru. Now he is using these two approaches to provide Arjuna with this higher wisdom, because Arjuna wanted to learn. Till then Krishna was just quiet. But only when Arjuna said, I genuinely want to change, before it becomes too late. See, he went on arguing, he went on giving reasons why he should not fight and all that, and then he threw his bow and arrows and said, I'm unable to lift my bow, I'm unable to stand also, my mind is swirling and all that. He sat down and he started crying. And then suddenly he realized, my God, if this continues, now it will cause destruction to my entire personality. So before it becomes late, now let me take help. At least at that point, that much amount of intellect was there for Arjuna. So when you're going through some terrible habit like an addiction and all that, before it becomes late, you should take guidance. Once it crosses a certain limit, it will become very difficult. As Shakespeare says, how many heads have rolled by, he says. I'm just a witness to that, he says. Many, many heads keep rolling by. These great masters, they are a witness. They get into the state of witnessing. For those people who genuinely want help and who are willing to follow everything which the Guru says, then they help. But to others who are unwilling to change, they just have no choice. They become a witness. How many heads have rolled by, heads after heads. So, when we are reading a verse, when we are studying a verse like this, verse number 6, wherein Krishna uses the powerful approach, now as a sadhak, directly utilize it to shake yourself up. You don't need to do anything. If you are very receptive and if you use the yogic approach to penetrate, you allow the energy to enter you, it will cause a tremendous change within you within a short period of time. That is the advantage of these powerful approaches. A gentle approach will also cause a change. The suffering will be less, but the time factor taken will be more. In a powerful approach like this, the suffering will be more. What is the suffering? Your ego will not like it. When he says, Vimudhatma, who likes to be called a fool? Supposing somebody were to come and tell you, you are a supreme idiot. Now immediately you will get up to hit him. Nobody would be like to call a fool. So such a powerful approach he takes. It is Vimudhatma, very, very strong word is being used. So the ego will not like it. That will cause a lot of suffering to the ego. And everyone is identified with the ego only. So you will also suffer. But that suffering is worth it because the transformation will be very quick, very fast. So last time I was telling you, why does he use the word mudaha? There is a psychological reason. That is to break the ego. So I gave you three words, no? Mudaha means fool, idiot. Vimudaha means supreme fool. And then pramudaha, the Upanishad uses, which means the supremost of supreme fools. Why such a powerful word is being used? The root word is mudaha, and then he builds around that. There are two reasons. First is a psychological reason, which is when you get into spirituality, the ego is waiting to trade on all the tapas, all the austerities, all the sadhana which you do. It is the Guru's duty to protect the student. Protect from what? Protect from the student's ego only. It's very interesting. The friend is also within you. The enemy is also within you only. And the Guru strives to help the friendly element within you. And then he also strives to protect you from the enemy, that is ego, which can come up, provided you surrender to the Guru. So when you are functioning in the world and when you achieve many things, that gives a big boost to the ego. There is a very thin dividing line between becoming egoistic and having self-confidence. Self-confidence, self-esteem is not wrong. If you don't have any self-esteem or self-confidence, now you will get into an inferiority complex. Inferiority complex is also ego only, where you feel I am nothing. Self-confidence means you neither feel I am superior, nor do you feel I am inferior. You are what you are. You respect yourself and you respect others also. That is the correct state, a balanced state. So when you achieve a few things in life, immediately the ego shoots up. As I told you, it may be gaining wealth, or it may be knowledge, it may be success, it may be having good relationships, whatever be the achievement. Those actually give a big boost to one's ego. Now, there is always a chance there, because deep within you, you feel, oh, I am worldly. So there is always a chance of taking spiritual guidance at some point of time. That's what happened to many people. If you take the history, they were very negative and suddenly they met some spiritual person and they became very positive. You would have read the historical incidents. Even in if you read our scriptures, that's what happened to Valmiki. He was very negative initially and then he became positive. There is always that chance. Now, once you get into the spiritual path, the ego will be waiting. You do some sadhana and all that, and you start getting some powers, start growing spiritually. The ego can overtake you, and you can get a spiritual ego. I am spiritual. Now, that is the real danger. In the Upanishads, he says, one who revels in ignorance is in blinding darkness. Andam tamaha. Very, very dark state he is in. Means a very low state. This is easily understandable. Then later on, the very next line, he says, the one who revels in ignorance is in blinding darkness. One who revels in vidya, the one who, ignorance means avidya. So one who revels in vidya, knowledge, wisdom, that person is in greater darkness, he says. It's a very mysterious verse. So you don't know, what am I to do? Am I to be in a state of ignorance or am I to gain knowledge? But if you go deep into that verse, using the yogic approach, one of the messages is this. What he means by vidya there is a spiritual ego. Getting an ego over the knowledge which you have gained, the sadhana which you have done. Such a person is in greater darkness, because when you have worldly ego, there is always a possibility of surrendering to a guru and gaining the wisdom. But if you get spiritual ego, then what will happen? You will try to move away from the guru. Guru means you will not want any guidance. Why is it that some people, they are in this path for many years? I know some people who sincerely they try and follow, but then when the ego takes over, they move away. When they fall a trap to that. Why? Because thereafter, anything which the Guru says will be unpleasant to their minds, because it is under the influence of the spiritual ego. The ego does not want to change, but the Guru is giving the wisdom to change. That will hurt them. Even this verse can hurt the ego, but you should not fall a prey to that. That is why the great masters, they use these kinds of harsh words to destroy the ego in the sadhak, number one. Number two, they also use the word, basic word mudaha and then vimudaha, pramudaha, they build on that, to also warn a sadhak right from the beginning. Listen, you have to be careful. You are getting into a path which is going to unfold you, which is going to unfold the divinity from within you. It's a wonderful path, but it also has dangers. So supposing a master merely says, beware of your ego, now that doesn't have a punch. Whereas when he says, when he uses these kinds of words like mudaha, vimudaha, pramu, don't be a supreme fool. When that kind of language is used, it serves as a warning for the student. As I am advancing spiritually, as I do more and more sadhana, I should also practice humility, side by side. See, in the good old system, even now in the Himalayas and all, where the yogic approach is given, the higher the empowerment, the sterner is the practice or the test which is given. As we move to higher empowerments, I don't know whether everything can be given like that just based on the registration. I may have to see the background, test the sadhaks more before giving, because otherwise it's a very dangerous situation. What are the tests? Like the higher the empowerments, they ask the students to do more the kind of work which the mind thinks as low or menial. If you want a very, very high level of empowerment, the guru may say, go and clean the toilets. The mind may not like that. But that test one has to pass. A very rich person goes to a guru and says, give me empowerment. He may say, do some charity. That person's mind may not want to do that. He spots out the weakness. See, a guru always sees the weakness, the block, and he will suggest something. And the person has to pass that test and come back. Sometimes the master may look as if he is harsh, but that is a test. If the student is not humble, if the ego takes over, the student will go away. They may even judge the master also. Oh, he's being very harsh, or he's asking for wealth, or he's asking this, that. They may go away. There is no loss to the master, but that is a test which the students have to pass. So why did they keep such stern tests? So that the purification happens and the student is able to receive the force of the higher energy, the higher empowerment. So in order to warn the student right from beginning, listen, you're in the path where the benefits are going to be immense. You will get infinite benefits, but the risk is also there. If you take one wrong step, it can cause a lot of trouble. Even in the financial matters, the financial experts say, wherever the returns are high, the risk is also high, they say, in the terms of finance. This is something similar. Here the returns are infinite, but the risk of, or the dangers of falling, that is also there. That is where the surrender to the Guru, the humility, all these qualities help. If you ask whether a Guru is absolutely necessary, in other words, without a Guru, can someone realize, can someone become a Sthitaprajna? On paper, the answer is yes only. But practically, whether it's possible or not, because it's a very dangerous situation. That's why in the Kato Upanishad, it is like walking on a razor's edge, the spiritual path, as you advance further and further. Because more and more powers are going to be awakened. And when the powers, the siddhis are awakened, now you will want to show it to others and claim a superiority. Such people who fall from the state of yoga, such a person is called yoga bhrashta. Later on, Krishna himself will be using that terminology, yoga bhrashta, one who falls from the state of yoga. Yoga means being focused, uniting with the infinite. Who can become a true yogi? One who does not compromise with any limited benefits. One who does not compromise with these limited powers, but one who goes for the highest Ananta Siddhi, the infinite power. Such a person alone can become a full-fledged yogi. So I wouldn't say the spiritual path is very easy. It is very tough only. But the results are tremendous. And you can never get anything in life just like that. If you get something in life free, you will have no value for that. Here the price which you have to pay is the efforts. So this is the second reason why he uses such so-called harsh words like fool, idiot and all that, to warn the student right from beginning. Number 2. Number 3, it's very interesting. I gave you that sequence, no? Modaha, Vimodaha and Pramodaha. Now, when you come into the spiritual path, you're a beginner. You've understood the value of the human birth, and that is why you get into the spiritual path. See, crores and crores of people are there. Out of that, a person who understands the difference between the human birth and the other creatures, what is the potential of a human being, such a person alone can come into spirituality. Otherwise, you will just be leading a mechanical life, just like any other animal or bird or any other creature. So you have realized the human potential. You have come into spirituality. At that stage, he uses the word modaha. Now, what is interesting is, when do you call a person a fool? You think about it. There are two possibilities. That person is an actual fool. You are very angry with that person. Therefore, you say you are a fool. That is one way. That is when you are angry. Now, definitely, these great masters have gone beyond everything. Why should they be angry with anyone? Now, what is the second possibility? Whenever you find a potential in a person and that person does not live up to that potential, then you say how foolish you are. When you say you're foolish, you're actually not criticizing that person, but you're trying to say you have such a wonderful potential and you're wasting it. If a person does not have a potential at all, you will not waste your time even trying to tell that person anything. See, for example, supposing, let us say, a person is competing in a tennis tournament. Let's say the Wimbledon. A player is competing. Now, he performs very well in the initial stages and comes to the stage of the finals. Now, if he wins the finals, he is going to get the Wimbledon Cup. Tomorrow is the finals. So, he's got a great potential, a great opportunity to win. Now, tomorrow is the finals, and today, that is the previous night, let us say he goes to a party and gets fully drunk, highly indisciplined. Now, what would you tell him? You would say, what a fool you are. Actually, when you say you're being foolish, the coach will tell that player, you're acting like a fool. When the coach is saying you are a fool, if you take the literal meaning, it will not work. The hidden meaning is what a great opportunity you're having, what a great potential you're having, and having come up to this level, now you're missing it. Therefore, he says you are a fool. So there, even though the word fool is being used, that is not being used in a negative sense. It is being used in a positive sense. It only indicates that that person has a tremendous potential. The same coach will not come to any other ordinary player and say, you are a fool. He will not say that, because that person has no potential to win the tournament. It is only to a person who has that potential will the coach be harsh. Similarly, you will have to think, a person who enters spirituality, now he realizes the potential as a human being. He has the potential to move towards the higher and become the infinite. Therefore, the master says modaha. In the Bhajagovindam, the situation is that Adi Shankara is going in the banks of the Ganges. He is walking and he sees a a Pandit who is well versed in the Sanskritam language, and he is reading some grammatical rules. Dukrin Karane, it's certain rules he is reading. And when Shankaracharya sees that, he observes the mind of the Pandit, and he finds that he is reading the Sanskrit language with which he can gain the whole wisdom of the Vedas, all that is there. Yet his mind is not going towards the higher. He is caught up with the rules. Therefore, he tells him, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modamate. You should worship Govinda. You should worship Govinda. Worship Govinda. 3 times he says. Govinda should be worshipped. Govinda means the infinite. O Modamate, O fool. Means there, why is he saying fool? Because you are putting in a lot of effort. You have a tremendous potential to realize the infinite nature, and yet you are wasting all your energy by getting caught up with some grammatical rules. He says that this Dukrin Karani, these grammar rules will not come and save you at the time of death, my friend, he says. So there, when he uses the word modaha, immediately a sadhak understands that it is a great prasad from these masters. Why? Because the master is saying, I am having the potential to achieve. If I don't have the potential to achieve, then the master will not be wasting his time. So when a person is in the beginning stages of spirituality, he has got a certain amount of potential, he can grow. Therefore, the word modaha is used. Don't waste this opportunity. Out of crores and crores of people, now you have decided to come into the spiritual path. Now, don't waste this opportunity. If you waste it, you are a modaha, fool, he says. Then, when you keep on advancing in spirituality, let us say you do a lot of sadhana and you grow spiritually, then you take a wrong step. You either get into suppression, as he is mentioning here, or indulgence. That is also embedded, in this verse. So you go off on a tangent after having advanced spiritually. Then he says, Vimudhatma, supreme fool. Why? Now your potential to merge with the infinite has increased. You have done a lot of sadhana and advanced. Just as that person, that tennis player has put in more effort to near the trophy. So having come to this stage, if you fritter away the wonderful opportunity which you have, which others don't have, by going off the tangent either into suppression or into indulgence, you lose all your spiritual energy, then you are a Vimudhatma, a supreme fool. Vimudhatma means as a deluded person. I'll give you the other dimensions of Mudha also, but first, this dimension itself is so powerful. Now, let us say you put in more effort. You keep on advancing. You come very, very near the goal. And at that time, you fritter away all your energies. You go into the wrong path. Then the master says, you are a pramodaha. Your foolishness is incomparable, he says. Very difficult to translate that. So what does that mean? Your potential is so huge. You have come very near the goal and then you are frittering everything away. So to such students, the master with all the unconditional love uses the word pramodaha. supreme fool. What a great opportunity, you are missing out. So depending upon the grade of the student, these words are used, mudaha, vimudaha or pramudaha. So as a sadhak, how should you take this? The moment you come across this word vimudaha, it's actually a compliment. It means you're having a lot of potential. That's why what is usually said in the yogic circles is that whenever a guru, when a master is harsh or he gives a firing, let us say, to the student, actually the true student will take it as a prasad, because the fact that the master is taking interest and he is being harsh with the student, all that shows that the student has a great potential. If the student does not have any potential at all, then the master will neither be harsh nor will he be kind. He will just simply be externally polite, because there is no point in talking to that person. So this word vimudhatma, see, the mudaha means fool, vimudaha means supreme fool, and then atma means soul. So the foolishness has gone up to the soul level, he says, because see, as you advance in spirituality, your impurities go away. You start getting attuned to your soul. So at that point of time, you should not leave your efforts. You should not stop your efforts. It is a very, very positive word for inspiration, provided you understand the deeper meaning. He's talking about your potential. In the beginning stages, you have tapped your potential a little bit. In the middle stages, you have tapped your potential more. In the advanced stages, you have tapped your potential to a very great extent. So, as a sadhak, when you read this vimudhatma, that should immediately inspire you. If a master stops guiding, that is when a true sadhak will be worried. If you don't have the depth, if supposing a sadhak does not have the depth, then he will try to impress the master and he will try to avoid talking to the master or getting any guidance, because he'll be afraid, oh, if the master shouts, what will happen? Because he doesn't understand the depth of the master's teachings. See, the being harsh, being kind, all these things are only different methods which the master adopts to mold the student. These are only methods. He is personally neither harsh nor kind. That way he is kind to everyone. The true kindness, the unconditional love is what prompts these masters to function. So that being the case, a true seeker will always take the guidance from the master, whether it is harsh or whether it is given in a sweet way. All these things should not be a concern, should not be the concern of a true sadhak. Everything is prasad only. When we go to a temple, they give prasad. No, what is suggested is never analyze whether that is tasty or not. Whatever is given, you should consume that as a prasad of the Lord. That is the principle which as sadhaks we should follow in the spiritual path. So the word vimudhatma actually shows your potential. And the fact that you are being exposed to that right now through the yogic approach means your potential is immense. Don't consider yourself as an ordinary person. You have extraordinary potential within you. Don't develop an ego over it. But the fact is, your potential is tremendous. And since your potential is tremendous, the master says, you are a fool, you are a supreme fool if you waste it. So the same phrase which can pull down the spirits of a person who doesn't understand can actually lift the spirits of a sadhak when he understands the true meaning. In every verse, when you understand the true meaning, your entire consciousness gets uplifted. So vimod atma means what amount of potential I have. I should not waste even a single minute from this moment onwards. That is the sadhana message. Getting into a firm resolve. What is my potential and what am I doing? I am just getting involved in petty things, petty quarrels. Sometimes it's very amusing. Mothers or fathers, the parents, they get involved in the petty politics of their little children. The child is in kindergarten and all that. And two kids are, my pen, you give your pen, I took this for something, they are fighting. I have seen the parents getting into that quarrel so much. After a while, the children resolve their fight and they are playing happily. The two parents are fighting. I have actually seen this. How funny these things are. What is your potential and what are you getting involved with? All your energies, to the person who asked about addiction, what is your potential and what are you doing today? Because once you get addicted, you will not be able to earn anything. Then if you don't earn anything, how can you take care of yourself and your family? You become more of a nuisance to everyone. What is your potential as a human being and what are you doing? Start reflecting on these points, especially to that person who was asked that question about addiction. The more you begin to reflect how I am wasting my life, you can neither achieve anything in the world, spiritual progress is out of question. You cannot receive this energy when you are intoxicated, when you're an addict. Then your whole life becomes wasted. When you start thinking on those lines, that is when you will get that desire, that ichcha, that will to come out of it. So as a sadhak, whatever is bothering you today in life, it is very petty when you compare it with the ultimate goal of self-realization and that potential you have as a human being. So vimod atma means what amount of potential I have. I should not be a fool and waste this wonderful opportunity as a human being. So it becomes a very powerful word for inspiration. There are certain words which actually give you some specific sadhana to be done, some specific practice. Like if you take sanyamya in a positive sense, in the second chapter, I'd given you what is a sadhana you need to practice. Very specific steps. We saw that in detail. Now, there are certain words which don't give you specific sadhana tips, but they provide you with tremendous inspiration. So a car has two things. One is many parts are there which actually take the car, which moves the car. But it also has the other aspect, that is the fuel. The fuel gives the energy for the car to run. Similarly, you have two aspects. One to sadhana, one is specific instructions which the Guru gives. Like for example, every day choose a time, preferably in the early hours of the morning, do the yoga sankirtan sadhana. These are all specific instructions. But there are certain words which are also given by these great masters, which are not specific instruction, but they motivate you, like the fuel in a car. They help you to practice your sadhana with great vigor and intensity. This is one such word. Vimudhatma means when you understand the hidden meaning behind it, then you realize your potential. What amount of potential you have. You are extraordinary. You are not a normal person. You have tremendous potential within you. The moment you realize that, that motivates you to do your sadhana in a disciplined way. And unless and until the internal motivation is there, you cannot be successful in your sadhana. In the Maha Ganapati Dhyana, the 6 Shaktis, the 5 Shaktis which are being awakened, one of the Shakti is Shraddha Shakti. Shraddha Shakti means that consistency for you to go till the end of your pursuit. How can you be consistent? Only if you are motivated you can be consistent. So a master always does that. He gives specific instructions to be followed. He also keeps on motivating the student. So these Sunday sessions are structured with these two methods only. On one hand, you will find very, very practical points, specific instructions will be given to you. On the other hand, a lot of motivation is being constantly provided to you. With these two forces, when you utilize them, then you are maximizing the chances of your success in the spiritual path. The same thing is applicable even in the worldly path, but in this context we are talking about the spiritual path. So one who sits restraining the organs of action but mentally thinks of the objects of senses, you can summarize that as one who is moving away from the path. Simple. That Vimudhatma, that deluded person, tremendous potential, tremendous opportunity he is wasting. So the moment you hear Vimudhatma, the message which should go into your mind is, I should not waste the great opportunity which I am having. Like many people have sent mails, no? After the empowerment program is over, they are sending mails. Can this empowerment, can we do the empowerment course and all that? How is that possible? The Kaya Tattva and Prana Tattva have been kept for a particular reason, but it's not a joke to energize, and put them into auto mode. Empowerments are normally given. Even now, whenever any person does the Kaya Tattva and Prana Tattva, whenever anyone registers, even though it is available online, sometimes the first time, or many sadhaks have been repeating that course, I have asked the organizers to give me the names so that I keep sitting and checking, ensuring that the person is receiving the empowerment energy, and if there are any blocks and all that, the healing is being given, because it is so powerful. So when the opportunity is there, you should not miss it. That is the message of this word Vimudhatma, the sadhana message. So in life, you should do things when they ought to be done. You should not miss opportunities. Invariably, the tamas, the laziness in your mind, or the lack of clarity, all these factors will come and not allow you to make use of good opportunities in life. So if you absorb this message, the energy of this phrase Vimodhatma, thereafter in life you will start looking for opportunities to grow. This is the practical aspect of this sadhana. When the opportunities come, don't miss them. And normally itself, you should look for more and more opportunities where you can grow in life, in every aspect of life, and more so in spirituality. Every Sunday is an opportunity which is being provided to you. And if you miss this, even one Sunday if you miss, it's a great opportunity which you missed. Every empowerment course is a great opportunity. It is a choice which you have. If you miss that, you missed it. So as a sadhak, you should start getting into the habit of picking up all the opportunities which life is throwing at you, number one, and also look for opportunities in every aspect of life, whether it's finance or career, whatever it is. Look for opportunities to keep growing. Okay, so we'll stop with that today. In the next session, we will see a few more deeper messages of this verse, and then we will continue further into this chapter. It's very interesting. Every verse is like a journey, you know. Rather, I would say every principle which is given is like a journey, the inward journey. So before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I will just take up one question which has come. This has been asked by Dr. Vijayalakshmi from UK. So Namaste Guruji, thank you very much for adding another blessing to the sadhak's practice, the energy cards. Yes, this is only a start. In the future, many more things will be added on. So they are truly magical. When I start the sadhana with them, I find that my focus and energy have moved to another level. Yes, that is the whole idea. Again, I'm telling you, this is a start. In the higher empowerment programs, I'll be teaching you various practices. So this is a preliminary practice which I want you to do first. So excellent that you're using that. So request your advice with regard to using these during the complete sadhana timetable. For this week, I did the Yoga Sankirtan and hence used the appropriate card for the session. Next week, I will begin the Prana Tattva level 1 set 2. Kindly advise how I should be using the cards during these sessions. That is when doing the sadhana with Kaya Tattva, Prana Tattva and Anandoham materials. With immense gratitude, Dr. Vijayalakshmi. Now, these cards which have been given to you, the energy cards, they are meant to be used only during the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. For those who have taken the empowerments of Kaya Tattva, Prana Tattva, level 1, and then Anandoham, more meditation materials have been given to you. So you will be alternating. 1 week you will be doing Yoga Sankirtan, 1 week you will be doing Kaya. Kaya Tattva itself has, I think, 10 powerful meditations. Prana Tattva has 12 meditations. Anandoham also has, I think, 12 meditations. So you will be alternating and doing. Now these cards need not be used for the other meditations. Now one more person has also asked whether I'll be providing cards for those meditations also. We'll see. Generally I don't decide these things consciously. What happens is, during the meditation, whatever is good for you, that comes, and I immediately implement that. even the empowerment programs and all that, every aspect, what topic should be used, whether there should be a registration or not, everything, what should be the exact things which should be covered. Nothing is done consciously. When the meditation is done, whatever messages are received from the higher, as that will be good for you all, I immediately implement that. So right now, for the Yoga Sankirtan meditation, these cards have been provided. That is the message which I have received. So in future, if it will be useful for you, cards may be provided for those meditations also. But as of now, you practice this during the Yoga Sankirtan meditation session. Otherwise, when you're doing the Kaya Tattva, Prana Tattva and Anandoham meditations, you can straight away close your eyes and do that as of now. The other important thing is, please don't forget to write your name on the back side of the cards. The cards have been specially energized through a yogic process. So they will be emitting a lot of energy during your sadhana. So when your name is also written, you're kind of binding your individual soul with the energy, with the higher energy. So when you're writing the name or when you're typing, whatever it is, when you're sticking there at the back side, do it consciously. Let it be seeking from you. I request healing from the higher Shakti. Then throughout the day, automatic healing will be happening to you. It'll be a big boost for your sadhana. In the higher empowerment courses, I will be revealing more techniques of how we can derive maximum energy, how to maximize the energy flow. Okay, but right now you practice these things. Just look at the card for a while, at least for 10 to 30 seconds, with a lot of bhavana, and then you place them in front of you and start doing your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. Is this very clear? No need to use these cards for the other meditations. That is different. We will see that in the future. See, we have to move step by step only. First, I want you to practice this and become more energy sensitive. Once you start practicing this, you will be prepared for the next level. Then only I can give you more and more. Okay? So now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. feel the infinite divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my mental emotions, beyond my intellectual thoughts, lies my real supreme self. As a human being, I have infinite potential within me. From this moment onwards, I choose to be extremely humble. I choose to do my daily sadhana with utmost inspiration, I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today's session was very powerful. The very style of this verse itself is very forceful and powerful. Then more than that, we are also using the yogic approach to unravel the deeper messages So naturally, it will hit you. So reflect on these points, practice them in your life. Don't complain and keep saying, oh, I am unable to practice and all that. Whatever you can practice, practice that. Get out of this mode of complaining, it is very important. Okay, so we are going to have the Guru Purnima session I think it's in July. It's going to be very, very powerful. I'm preparing you every Sunday from now itself so that you can easily receive that blast of energy, the higher blessings from the Guru Shakti. When a Guru enters your life, your whole life becomes so blessed. So the Guru Purnima is a day, or I would say is a moment. It's not the external Purnima, but it is actually that whole month itself is very sacred, wherein you get connected to the Guru Shakti and allow it to flow into your life. So be very sincere and stick to your sadhana, personal sadhana, and according to how sincere you are, you will receive the higher grace. Okay, so we'll continue next week. Thank you very much. Hari Om.